Okay, round two. I recorded a whole video, and it turned out that my sound was like fucked up. There was only sound on one side of it, so I'm gonna go through again and show you what my settings are here. I am gonna also run this benchmark before we get started here to show you what I'm rocking with. These settings should be good for you. Just as a base value, and you probably will also have to tweak them just because you're running at a 4K resolution. It's going to run differently, and it's going to stress your card a little bit more than it stresses my card running at the 2K resolution, 1440p. But still, this is a good base value. You know, this is going to give you some extra frames. And a good thing to know is in this benchmark, this is like max stress. I mean, given your settings, of course, but this is gonna stress your card out as much as possible. Like, it could run much smoother in online games, or should run much smoother. As you can see right now, 120, 89, 100, 90. So depending on like the textures and effects you're loading, the settings are going to... That was a really bad aim. I never noticed that. 100 frames. Oh, look at that. My GPU is only 50 degrees Celsius right now. That's cold. I don't know why I still haven't swapped it to Fahrenheit, but I know that's cold. I know this. Okay, so average frames per second, 94. Yeah, so that's not bad. 94 under max stress, 1440p, 144.002 for my refresh rate, which is stupid monitor. But I will show you now my graphics settings and tell you what's up here. As far as your display, there are some things you can do in here that may affect your performance. For instance, full screen exclusive is a must. Any other setting, windowed, borderless, extended window, that is going to affect your performance. Full screen exclusive gives you the best performance, hands down. Secondly, you want, of course, to set your refresh rate to the highest possible just so your screen can actually produce the amount of frames it's being sent. So just click the highest one available for you there. And display resolution. This is kind of tricky. Your TV, which is 4K, may also be able to display other resolutions. So sometimes it works, sometimes it looks funky. You could try dropping down to the 1440p that I'm at, 2560 by 1440p. And see if that just crazily boosts your frames, but still looks good. But I would do that as like a last resort, because usually your computer auto-selects the best resolution to display out, like what the TV wants to be displayed at. So I would leave that until like a last resort. And nothing else really. I mean, custom frame rate, once again, that's another thing. Once you like start to hone in the amount of frames per second you're getting, you can kind of stop your computer from producing, like say you're getting 60 frames steady, but you have it set to unlimited. You could set the max frames to 60 frames per second so your computer doesn't worry about making those other frames because it's not displaying them. But once again, that's like a fine-tuning later thing. Upscaling. I originally didn't recommend it, but NVIDIA DLSS and the Intel, I call it the Intel Sex, it's the XESS, but both of these options have come a long way, and it could really boost your performance. So if you haven't tried just doing that off bat and seeing if that helps you out, and I would, if you're using the DLSS, use the balance or performance, I think, are the only two I would use, because ultra performance is just gonna make it look like poop, I think. Video memory scale, I don't think should be important to you. I have it set down lower because I don't use more than the 70%, and the other 30% then I can secure for when I'm streaming. That means like 30% of my graphics card I can dedicate towards streaming. But since you're only playing the game, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Texture resolution, you can put it to normal and it will look pretty dang good. If you're pressed to get some extra frames, you can put it to normal and you won't notice much of a difference at all. I keep this on high, makes it look crisp. Nearby level of detail and distance, I both keep high because I just like it. Especially with the distant level of detail, I like it for sniping. Let's see here. Clutter draw distance. I keep high as well, but you don't need that. That's like extra effects and stuff. Let's see, small ground elements, foliage rocks and shit. Like, you don't really need that. So if you're pressed for extra frames, you could also turn that to short. And I don't think it affects it that much. Particle quality, anything that says particle quality does affect your GPU. So if you are, once again, pressed for frames, changing these definitely can get you some extra frames. In fact, I'm going to change that to normal. Okay, bullet impacts and persistent damage layers. Not a super big impact on your GPU, but turning them off definitely garners you some extra frames, so I turn them off anyways. Anything that says shaders on here, I'm going to tell you right now. Anything that says shaders, let's see, where's the shaders? Trying to get it on the top so you can see it. My mouse is fucked up, so it's like fucking scrolling all weird on me. I need a new mouse. And this is the second... I should have gotten a different mouse. Let me pan over. We're going to take a break on the settings here. This is the second Rocat Cone AMO mouse I've got, and I love the shape of it, the feel of it. It's a great mouse. It has extra buttons on the side, like extra 2 side buttons, but it also has another button down here that's mappable and very cool. But this is the second one. They keep breaking on me. Okay. So we're talking about shadows, though. Anything that says shaders. If it says shaders, it has a decent impact on your GPU. So changing your shader, or no, shadows. No, yeah, that one still you probably could change, but I am on the wrong one. Huh, weird. I scrolled weird. But on-demand texture streaming, important to turn off. That's garbage, don't use it. Volumetrics, that has more to do with your CPU than your GPU, but I still have mine set on medium because it is kind of taxing. Physics quality of water, you could definitely turn to low or off. I don't think that's gonna be super big in affecting your gameplay, you know? Also, this you could turn off, I think, and it wouldn't hurt you at all. It adds light rays to the waves. I don't even know why I have that on. I am turning that off. Get out of here. I hate you. Shadow map resolution. I think this is what I was trying to talk about. Shadows. They affect your GPU heavily in almost every game you play. So I have my shadow map resolution set to normal, and then everything else is set on high, except for my particle lighting, which I think also I'm going to change to just high instead of ultra. Ultra is like if you've got the 40 series, or like a 2080 at least. Spot cache, don't set that to ultra too. I remember something about when the game launched, if you set it to ultra, there was like a lot of hitching, but I think they fixed that. Even still, I'm keeping it on high. Screen and space reflections, you don't need those also. So once again, if you're pressed for frames, you could definitely turn off screen space reflections and the static reflection quality with no problems. Weather grids you could also turn off. NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. Let me scroll a little bit so you can see this. This is a cool function. I like to keep it on. It helps optimize with system latency, and it's not necessarily going to gain you better frames, but you will feel like... it's hard to explain if you don't like know what latency is specifically, but like the moment you're clicking, you know, your mouse button or your paddle, it feels, you know, much quicker to actually shoot on screen. And I would set it just to on and not the boost, just because the boost can do some weird things with how your card runs and the heat and stuff. Also, depth of field, world motion blur, weapon motion blur, and film grain in the trash. They're useless. So that, or these, anyhow, I'll scroll up slowly once again so you can see them, are my settings. And once again, it's not a guarantee that these are going to get you an instant, you know, million frames per second, but this is what I'm set at, and I think will be a decent, since you have the same card, way to start optimizing that. Now, you are in 4K, so you may have to adjust more stuff. Just kind of tweak it. But that should get you going in the right direction, because 30 frames per second sucks. So hopefully this helps you out. And, yeah.